Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer welcomes you to our biggest clearance sale of the year, the Happy Honda Days sales event. Get year-end clearance pricing on over 900 new Hondas, plus a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Honda. Save thousands on your new Honda right here at Team Honda.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
That one over there. Okay, got it. Thank you, Marty. Here's hoping that all is well with you and yours in the world this day, and hopefully we will make it through yet another COVID-19 day, none the worse for wear. Speaking of COVID-19, in the near future, we are going to be subjected to, privy to, given the opportunity to view what is going to be arguably the biggest public relations campaign maybe in our lifetime. With the advent of COVID-19 and the widespread nature of this virus, America, and I guess for that matter the world, pinned its hopes on a vaccine to return things to normal and defeat this viral enemy. The problem is, and I lay a good portion of the blame for this at the feet of the media and many politicians, the number of people that don't trust either, and as a result, aren't willing to take this vaccine. Depending on which poll you subscribe to, you will find anywhere from 45 to 60% of Americans saying, thanks, but no thanks. And if I do, it'll only be after I watch the rest of the guinea pigs walk up, take the shot, and see what happens to them. Somewhere in the middle of that 45 to 55, 60%, the Associated Press and NORC Center for Public Affairs Research conducted a poll this week. It shows 50% of America isn't sure or will not take the vaccine. 25% say, I'm not sure, I hadn't decided, hadn't made up my mind just yet. 25% say flat out, nope, not going to do it. Only 30% of those that took part in this poll say that they're confident that the vaccines have properly been tested for safety. Another 30% said, we're not sure about the safety. 70% of those that were polled that said, nope, not going to take it, says due in large part to potential side effects. And I guess in retrospect now, that could well be, that number should have been juxtaposed with those who say we're concerned about the safety ramifications of this vaccine. Here's what was particularly interesting to me, and I guess it goes back to a history of things in this country. As you well know, I'm sure, COVID-19 has affected far more African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Native Americans than white Americans. And yet, 53% of white Americans that took part in this poll said, yeah, I'll take the shot. Only 24% of African Americans and 34% of Hispanics say they will get the shot. Now, a thinking person would have to ask themselves if this particular demographic, particularly African Americans, have been so disproportionately affected by this virus, why would only 24% of them say they are willing to take the shot? We've had this discussion ad nauseum in recent memory about systemic biases, racism, injustices, et cetera, et cetera. And the government, for its part, is still shouldering the lingering effects of things getting out to the public like the Tuskegee experiments, where African Americans were knowingly, to those that did it, unknowingly to those that were the recipients of this devious plan, were intentionally infected with syphilis so that the long-term effects of that social disease could be discovered. It's sad that this many years later, that lingering distrust is still there and puts, if you believe in the effectiveness of the vaccine, puts those most disproportionately at risk and affected in the category of not trusting in the cure. Only 20% of those that were polled say they have the utmost confidence that the vaccine will be distributed quickly and fairly. Finally, as is the case with just about everything these days, there's a political divide here. According to the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs research poll, 60% of those who identify as Democrat say they'll take the vaccine. Only 40% of Republicans say they'll do the same. Isn't it ironic that the vaccine was developed under a Republican administration, one that the left, Democrats, and the media incessantly called the most racist, hateful, incompetent, and devious administration in the history of our country, and more Democrats than Republicans say that they're willing to get the vaccine. My dear departed close friend, Joe Planis, sports writer for many years for The Advocate, used to say, only in America, Bugs, only in America. It is going to take a Herculean effort to convince Americans, because remember, Dr. Anthony Fauci and others have claimed that it's going to take 70% of Americans getting vaccinated before we will be able to achieve herd immunity. And it's not going to help in the least when infectious disease experts, the likes of Dr. Michael Tall, come out and say, well, even after you get the vaccine, you're still going to have to wear a mask for a while, and you're still going to have to observe social distancing norms. That is because, according to Dr. Michael Tall, you can still be a, quote, silent spreader of this virus. I can only hope that when all is said and done and all of this has finally run its course, that we will not forget the lessons we should have learned from all of this. As you well know, we gave you the heads up early this week. Scientists are scrambling to try and figure out what this mystery disease is over in India. And I only hope that the next time we entertain something of this nature, we will take a more prudent approach. I understand this was unprecedented. We hadn't had anything to happen like this in this country before. So you could chalk up a lot of our missteps to the unprecedented nature of what we're talking about. But hopefully next time, the first thing we will figure out is who is most at risk. And instead of quarantining everybody, shutting down the entire economy, running it into the ditch, if a quarantine is necessary, it should only be for those most at risk. I am hoping we will see the devastating effects of this from an economic standpoint, from a mental health standpoint. If the vaccine is 100% effective and 3 months, 4 months from now, COVID is nowhere to be found, the lingering effects on our economy and our collective mental health is going to be with us for a long, long time. Hopefully we'll learn some lessons here. And if, God forbid, we find ourselves in this position again, we will be much better equipped to respond. Speaking of COVID-19, there's probably one group of folks, and y'all please accept this in the spirit that it's given. They are breathing kind of a sigh of relief for the cover that COVID-19 has given them. And believe it or not, it's right here in Baton Rouge. What is Clarence talking about? You got to come back to find out. First break of hour one, we'll rock on when we come back on this edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network
and Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Get 0.9% financing for 60 months on every new 21 Mazda, plus 90 days deferred payments during the season of inspiration at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. 2020 has so many things that we never thought we'd experience. And things that, oh my God, we'll be so happy when this year is over. Here in the South, as the late, great Marino Chasm used to say, college football is a religion, and Saturday is the holy day of obligation. Last year, we were first class, front row viewers to the greatest season in the history of the game. LSU pulling off the marvel of all marvels. And yet, less than a year later, you know the rest of that story. If there's anybody that is a beneficiary of COVID-19's positiveness, it's got to be the LSU football Tiger coaching staff. Can you imagine what it would be like in Tiger Stadium on a Saturday with 100,000+ people in the stadium, tens of thousands more tailgating outside the stadium, and we were at 3-5 at this point of the season? Joining us to talk about what in the world is going on the campus of Louisiana State University is the co-host of Tiger's Roar, our very own Jonathan Poche. Jonathan, good morning. How are you, young fellow?
I'm doing just fine, Clarence. Certainly appreciate you spending some time with me on the Clarence Poche Show. Always a pleasure to talk with you.
Pleasure's all mine, my friend. So what in the world is going on at LSU, Jonathan?
Well, you mentioned the 2019 season and they're being on top of the world, best team in college football, possibly in the history of college football, win a national championship, had the Heisman winner in Joe Burrow, win all the awards, the Blitnikoffs, you name it. And then 2019 is over. We still see the replays through the whole COVID, and the LSU fan base is drowned with all the success. There's not much sports on TV, so you keep on getting the replays of the Alabama game or the Georgia game, and then of course LSU versus Clemson. And the start of the 2020 season, of course, we didn't know what to expect with all the COVID. Everybody just really wanted football to be here, no matter what it was going to look like, some form of normalcy with the 2020 season. And didn't start off well, obviously. Giving up over 600 yards to Mississippi State, first game of the season, to a quarterback that's not even on the team anymore. I mean, that just started off the ball on a wrong foot, to say the least. And then you lose to Auburn, the worst score margin in the history of the rivalry between LSU and Auburn. You lose a game to Missouri, and you lose your quarterback, and that's a huge loss. I mean, Miles Brennan goes out to true freshmen, guys who were playing high school football last year, have to start games for LSU. Then you have the 7 guys who either opted out or entered the transfer portal since the preseason, not to mention one with the Whitnikoff winner from last season, Jamar Chase. He's a huge loss. And then there hasn't been many positive stories out in the news for LSU. People wonder if Coach O has lost the locker room. Of course, the latest opt-out, and Eric Gilbert may be the most troubling of the opt-outs so far this season, because, I mean, this guy was a former 5-star athlete from Marietta, Georgia. The future of the Tigers' success was so much built in, tied hand in hand with the success of Eric Gilbert. The guy was like a star. You hear conflicting reports out of media in Baton Rouge by saying, his body was hurting, his mom was in town trying to help him through this time. But then he also heard that he was homesick and officially did opt out. We heard from Coach Ogeron on Wednesday. And then, of course, the latest news, the self-imposed bowl ban for the 2020-2021 season. So LSU has 2 more games, and then their season will be over. Coach O has been dealing with a lot of investigations and sanctions dating back to before he was the head coach, and a former player's father was getting paid. It's going to be $180,000 from Ali the Lake for a no-show job. That's being investigated by an independent investigator. And then you also have Odell Beckham handing out a total of $2,000 cash from the field of the national championship to players. Just another bad look for the Tigers. And I tell you what, I talked to Mike Scarborough last night on Tiger's Roar, and he said, at this time last year, we were talking about how LSU was the hottest team, the hottest location for recruits there was. It was the sexiest team that went to college football.
Right.
And it's just the exact opposite in 2020. A lot going on, Clarence.
Jonathan, most LSU fans, if they were realistic, knew that as great as last year was, this year was going to be different, due in large part to the number of 5-star players that we lost. Now, that being said, what are you hearing? What's going to have to happen next year for Tiger fans to forgive what happened this year? And do we have the personnel to make that happen?
That's a great question, and with this 2020, so much uncertainty. Of course, the NCAA gave the student athletes an option to come back next season, no matter what your qualifications or classifications were. If you're a senior, you do not lose if you have eligibility. You can come back again next year. So LSU really has to keep a lot of the guys they have in the locker room now. Of course, they're down to 69 scholarship players with Gilbert leaving. The maximum you can have is 85. Of course, LSU way below that. And there has been some rumors come out that Gilbert is not the last guy that is going to lead this program. To answer your question, in 2021, what LSU has to do They have to come out, have a great signing period with recruits. That's really the only positive story we're going to get in the next few weeks. Early signing period starts next Wednesday, December 16th. LSU has been doing well in recruiting. Need to sign a strong class. Need to finish that class in February, National Signing Day. Then head into the offseason with a brand new field. Kind of get this bad taste out of your mouth. Start on the right foot. I believe there will be some coaching changes. Don't know to what extent. Obviously, a lot of people are calling for Bo Pelini to be fired. But look, Scott Linehan, he was supposed to come in and be passing coordinator for Joe Brady. That offense, although they were putting up points with Miles Brennan, has looked stagnant in games where they were supposed to be able to win. And they did score points with Miles Brennan, but Miles Brennan has not been in there. You would think with all the talent outside and in the backfield for the Tigers, they would still find a way to move up and down the field and score points. That simply hasn't been the case in all games. Of course, you watch Texas A&M. LSU scored a late touchdown in garbage time. Instead, that's the only points they put up. There's been a lot of questions. I don't know if you'll ever really forget the 2020 season, how bad it has been. But I saw something on Twitter that's really funny. They said, LSU, did you sell your soul to the devil in order to win the championship in 2019? And if you did, was it worth it? And they had a bunch of fans on there saying, yep.
Finally, Jonathan, you mentioned recruiting. Is the program's, quote, period of disarray so severe that it's going to affect continuing this trend of top 5 recruiting programs? Or is the LSU brand big enough to withstand that? What does your gut tell you?
Well, my gut tells me that, yes, the brand is big enough to withstand. There's so many NFL superstars that came from LSU that do a great job advocating for the Tigers. I mean, you see these guys on Sundays each and every week. That's going to play a factor. Also, LSU has, bar none, some of the best facilities in college football. They will struggle a little bit signing guys they thought they had a lock on in this signing period, but they'll still have a great signing class. I mean, there's going to be a lot of talented freshmen that will be playing for the Tigers next season. And that has been one bright spot of 2020, that so many young guys have had to get game snaps for the Tigers this season. I mean, you talk about 33 freshmen or sophomores played against Alabama this past weekend. Those game snaps, you can't replicate that in practice. And yeah, the bowl ban, it would have been nice to get a bowl, because that's 2 more weeks of practice time for these young guys to get in there, get to work, learn the system, better bond with their teammates, and build something positive for next year. But at the same time, you don't know where you were going to go for a bowl or who are you going to play. And I would hate for the Tigers to pull up, say, in Shreveport and play a UAB and get beat. That would have been a bad look for the Tigers. You kind of just got to take your lumps and go home at this point. Coach Orgeron said that he thought that it was the best year for them to take the bowl ban. They've been in contact with the NCAA, with the independent investigators. They're trying to self-impose these penalties to kind of get away from a more severe penalty levied out by the NCAA later to come. You never know what's going to happen next season. Obviously, nobody knew the impact that COVID-19 was going to have on college football. But moving forward, LSU just has to not rebuild. This is for 2020 is supposed to be a reload season. It has completely been a rebuild season. Now, take that rebuild and move forward. It's really going to be on Coach O and that staff to build a great culture in the locker room. There's been a lot of questions about, did he lose the locker room? I think Coach O is very much a player's coach. He's always been able to recruit no matter where he was, no matter what job he had across the nation. Hopefully, you just got to keep the faith. And look, there's been a lot of talk about these guys opting out, and it has obviously been a down season, but the fans out there, the local media, you have to kind of handle it with Nick gloves and not get too down on 18, 19, 20-year-old kids, because that will affect recruits. And they see the news. They see how it's handled. They see their parents also see it. So, I mean, it's all going to play an effect. You just got to kind of take this year for what it is. It's a long season. It was up and down from the very beginning. COVID-19. Move forward, 2021 will not be the same year. I believe LSU will be improved, much improved than they showed with the product was on the field this season.
Real quickly, Jonathan, when can we catch Tigers Roar with you and that spicy guy, Buddy Sanji?
That's right, Buddy Sanji. You'll have it on the Pelican each every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. It also replays during the weekend. Also, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. A great way to keep up with everything we do at the Pelican, including your show, The Exiles, Rocket Right, and, of course, Tiger's Roar.
Jonathan Poche, as always, good stuff, my friend. Thank you kindly, big guy.
I appreciate you, brother, man. Thank you.
All right, final. I'm getting ahead of myself. Bottom of the hour break. You know I got something to do, right? As soon as I get off. Bottom of the hour break, we'll bang it out. Come back and talk about what some might call a war on Christmas. I call it a war on sanity. I know it's not Monday, and that's just stupid, but there's always one. Always got to be one. What's Clarence talking about? Another tease. You'll find out next on the Clarence Bug Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Jaguar Nation, we need your help in masking up Louisiana.
Masking up will slow the spread of COVID-19.
During this time, we must continue to wear a mask, wash our hands, and practice social distancing.
It's important that we continue to abide by the CDC's guidelines to stop the spread.
Jaguar Nation, we challenge you to mask up.
Go Jags!
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
At Team Toyota, Toyotathon is underway. It's your chance to save during our biggest sale of the year. Get our lowest prices and our save during our biggest sale of the year. Get our lowest prices and our lowest payments on every new Toyota. Plus, get a complimentary lifetime powertrain warranty with every new Toyota. Right now at Team Toyota.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. It is that time of year again, the holidays, where we as Americans traditionally celebrate any number of things. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, New Year's. Did I leave any out, Marty? I think that's pretty much spans the gamut. And it's also the time of year where butthurt holiday feelings end up being front and center. I guess I shouldn't be all that surprised because this story comes out of St. Paul, Minnesota. And we've seen in recent memory in that particular part of the Midwest how the disease of liberalism has just run amok. At least 4 families in a suburb of St. Paul, Minnesota, received a letter this week from a neighbor complaining that their Christmas lights are a, quote, reminder of systemic biases. You heard me right. The letter, reportedly, reads as follows. I couldn't help but notice your Christmas lights display. During these unprecedented times, we have all experienced challenges which casual words just don't describe what we're feeling. The idea of twinkling, colorful lights are a reminder of divisions that continue to run through our society, a reminder of systemic biases against our neighbors who don't celebrate Christmas or who can't afford to put up lights of their own. We must do the work of educating ourselves about the harmful impact an outward-facing display like yours can have. I challenge you to respect the dignity of all people while striving to learn from differences, ideas, and opinions of your neighbors. We must come together collectively and challenge these institutional inequities. St. Anthony, that suburb, is a community welcoming of all people, and we must demand better for ourselves. If ever there was a time I wish this was Sirius XM TV so I could say what I really feel about the author of this letter, it would be now. But I'm not, so I guess I have to settle for, now that's just stupid. This is as classic an example as you will ever find of how we are failing in our country. It is amazing yet disheartening to me that we have arrived at a point in this country where there is so little appreciation for freedom and liberty and such a willingness to not only depart from that, but attempt to circumvent the rights of our fellow Americans for no reason other than you hurt my feelings. You know what that letter reminds me of? Those of you that have children and you ever had more than one relatively young at the same time. You're in the car and you hear probably the smaller of the two children, "Mommy, he teasing me." And after, if you grew up in a household like I did, particularly with a military father, Sergeant First Class, after about the second or third time, "Daddy, he teasing me." What'd your parents say? Well, tease him back. You got a mouth, grow up. It's just words, tease him back. This clown, the author of this letter, is willing, because of Christmas lights, to deny his fellow Americans not just one, not just two, but three constitutionally guaranteed rights. Because of freaking Christmas lights, you're willing to deny your fellow American freedom of religion. Because of Christmas lights, you're willing to deny your fellow Americans freedom of expression. Because of Christmas lights, you're willing to try and deny your fellow Americans the right to the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. Wouldn't it be a lot simpler for this person to simply, I don't know, don't look at the freaking lights? Wouldn't that be a common sense? Oh, my bad. Wouldn't that be the common sense thing to do? You know, in this country, for some strange reason, we either were too ignorant to learn or don't want to learn and understand. The way this country is built, you cannot deny another person a right unless it infringes upon your right. Now let's clear something up here. There is no right for you to go through life and not be offended. I don't know who told these fools in this country that you have the right to live your life and never be offended, but they lied to you. You tell them, Clarence told me you lied to me. By you looking at your neighbor's display of Christmas lights, does that deny you the right to vote? No. By you looking at your neighbor's Christmas lights, does it deny you the opportunity to work in your chosen field of endeavor? No. By looking at these Christmas lights, does it deny you the right to an education? No. So the only thing here that could potentially lead you to want to deny your fellow Americans, not one, not two, but three of their rights, is because your precious little feelings got hurt. I was trying to think, what would I do if, after going to the mailbox and taking the mail out and opened up a letter, oh, this is from one of my neighbors. I see the address is right down the street. I was trying to think, what would I do after reading that letter? Now, there is the automatic reaction. I'd tell that fool where to get off. There's the automatic reaction. I'd march down and knock on the door and say, look here, Hoss, we got to talk. But after thinking more about it, I would probably bust my budget for the month right on time. I would go out and buy every freaking Christmas light I could get my hands on. I put them up and I turn them on every night all the way through the month of March. Sometimes you got to just shake your head at Americans. And it's true. Everybody can't handle freedom. To think that you would even suggest something of this nature when all you have to do is not look at the freaking lights. You know, when I was a child growing up, big thing was for the holidays, man, we pile the family into the car and we're going to drive through certain neighborhoods where we know the Christmas lights display are just going to be off the charts. But this clown, because his precious little feelings were hurt, is now willing to deny all these other folks the privilege of riding around looking at Christmas lights. I often wonder what the founding fathers would think of us these days. It's, and you know, there was a time where even if you thought something is stupid, there's no way on God's green earth you would sign your name on this and send it to your neighbors. At the end of the day, y'all, it's America. And what is blatantly ironic in all of this, he signs the letter, or this person signs the letter. St. Anthony is a community welcoming of all people, and we must demand better for ourselves. Well, apparently, St. Anthony is a community welcoming of all people, unless you put up them damn Christmas lights. Only in America in 2020. Final break of today's show. Let me bang this out. We'll come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, here and only here on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Bugg Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Bugg Show. The only thing missing is you.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. You know, I was thinking during the last commercial break, growing up as a child, I would now because it never occurred to me back then, categorize my family as growing up probably upper low class America. We were not quite middle class, didn't begin to approach that till later in life. But we certainly were not as bad off as those at the absolute bottom rung of the ladder. But never once, when every Christmas the family would pile into the car and we'd drive through neighborhoods much finer than ours and look at the Christmas lights, never once did it occur to anybody in the car that it was unfair that these people had more lights than we have. The thought never crossed our minds that it's so grossly unfair that you're making fun of people who don't celebrate Christmas. Never once did the thought enter anyone's mind that we should make them take those lights down as a consideration to those who cannot or do not want to put lights on their own abode. I understand, y'all. I get it. With every passing day, it's a different day. But some things you just don't have to do. You know, it's sad that an individual would sit down because time for every single one of us is limited. We are only given in this life a certain number of hours, minutes, and seconds. And it's up to us to what we do with that time. It's sad to think an individual took 15, 20, 30 minutes, however long it did, out of their life to write, spell check, compose, print, and mail these letters to 4 families, decrying their Christmas light display. That amount of time could have been spent in a more productive endeavor. That amount of time could have been spent studying what this country is truly all about and getting a greater appreciation for the liberties and the freedoms that you are trying to infringe upon. But then again, kind of goes back to the old saying, some people would rather have a grievance than a job. Speaking of things you don't have to do, I saw this one yesterday, and I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? But I guess it's symptomatic of what we have become in this country. Did you see the story about the Rouse's supermarket in Gonzales? Great folks, by the way, at Rouse's. Love their stores, love the employees, the selection, the whole nine. Well, a woman goes to the Rouse's supermarket in Gonzales, gets a shopping cart, walks around the store, and puts in $357 worth of alcohol in her shopping cart. Walks to the front of the store and then politely waddles out the door without paying. Now, in and of itself, that story is what it is. But surveillance cameras, as is the case at every store on the planet these days, then saw this woman with $357 worth of alcohol in her shopping cart go out the door into the parking lot and then proceed to load in her vehicle these ill-gotten gains and make her getaway in a white Lincoln MKX crossover. So let me get this straight. You're driving a Lincoln MKX crossover, and you're stealing $350 worth of alcohol. You know, the old folk used to say, son, some things you just don't have to do. Some things you just don't have to do. If you can afford to drive a Lincoln MKX, buy your damn alcohol. Well, Clarence, you got to understand, maybe that woman's an alcoholic. Okay? How about you buy a Toyota Corolla? Then you got a whole lot more money left over to buy what you want to buy. And what these clowns don't seem to realize, and it's not really a big surprise because, you know, for all we know, this might be the woman's cousin up in Minnesota that sent that letter out about the Christmas lights. At the end of the day, these clowns don't realize stores are in the business to make money. And the good folk that get up every day, most of whom go to a job they are not particularly fond of, but they are going to do what needs to be done to provide for their families, they are the ones that are going to shoulder the burden of her pilferage. The stores are not in the business of losing money. So when you go in to buy whatever the item is, you're on a budget, and you go, this is 20 cents higher than it was the last time I was in here. This is 40 cents higher than what it was the last time I bought some. This is $1.20 more than what I paid last time. You can thank Ms. Waddle, and if you see the story, you'll know why I say Ms. Waddle, for walking off with damn near $400 worth of merchandise out of Rouse's. Then again, it is 2020. So I guess nothing should surprise us anymore. Still disappoints us, but nothing surprises us anymore. My time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. But as you have heard me say every single day for God knows how long, this day, like any other, I give it to you. You're right. America, we are in no ways perfect. But doggone it, for this old boy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you know he loves you, right? And I hope you know, even if it's in the smallest of terms, that I do too. Then again, ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves. Let's take care of each other, and we'll do it again soon. God bless.